Good afternoon to each one of you. I'm Udaya, Arun, Director, Aerospace and Defense with US-India Business Council. Thank you and welcome to all of you for the USIBC APCO Worldwide led US-India Commercial Space Roundtable today. I'm particularly grateful to SIA for giving us this opportunity to launch our report on this occasion on the sidelines of India Space Congress 2025. This roundtable is a key initiative with the agenda of exploring strengthened collaborations between United States and India in the rapidly expanding commercial space sector. Driven by shared values and on the guidelines of the US-India Trust Initiative, which was launched by Prime Minister Modi and President Trump earlier this year. This is to bring together government officials, industry leaders and experts from both the nations to discuss and identify to promote opportunities for cooperation in areas like satellite technology, launch systems, space sustainability, human spaceflight and advanced space manufacturing. Let me begin this by introducing to all of you the Director General of Satcom Industry Association, SIA-India, Mr. Anil Prakash. With a remarkable 37 years of techno-commercial experience spanning telecom, ICT, satellite and broadcasting on digital platforms, Mr. Prakash is highly respected and a seasoned leader. His extensive background includes over 2 decades of active association with the International Telecommunications Union, where he has been instrumental in shaping global telecommunications policies and initiatives impacting India. Mr. Prakash is known for his deep involvement in government relations, regulatory affairs and policy frameworks, consistently representing his expertise at major international conferences for over 30 years, 3 decades in fact. His leadership at SIA-India positions him as a crucial thought leader driving the growth and development of India's commercial service sector. Over to you for the opening remarks, sir.
Thank you. SIA-India is a platform for meeting, not only meeting grounds, but doing some business. So the India Space Congress is the one which you are experiencing. So we wholeheartedly, embrace anybody who just come with the same mindset or thinking that, so we hope relationship into good collaboration among the nations. And this platform is where I think we're going to talk about this discussion more about how US and India could collaborate in the space sector. And 3 days is a back-to-back tracks, and you must some of you already enjoyed some of the sessions. So whatever is India along with USIBC, we really like to continue our relationship and building more. And we assure you all support from our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash, for your opening remarks. Now I would like to request Rahul Sharma, Managing Director of USIBC, US-India Business Council, for his remarks on the on strengthening the bilateral ties between US and India. He has nearly 4 decades of global experience across India, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the UAE. Prior to USIBC, Mr. Sharma served as Managing Director India for APCO, a leading global advisory firm. His extensive career also includes significant leadership positions such as Deputy Secretary General of FICCI, President of Rail Diffusion Communications, and President of Business Public Affairs Practice in India. Rahul has also co-founded the Public Affairs Forum of India, PAFI, and holds master's degrees from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy and Flinders University. Earlier, he was a journalist and editor for prominent news outlets like the Economic Times, Thomson Reuters, Hindustan Times, and the Khaleej Times. He has also written extensively on global affairs, co-editing a new Cold War, Henry Kissinger, and the Rise of China.
Thank you.
Let's just meet the end of the long.
You could have chopped 3 paras from that. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just landed in from Bangalore and I was just hoping that I would be able to make on time, which I did thanks to fantastic public infrastructure that we have built in this country. The airport express that got me from the airport to Tiwari Stadium in hardly any time, and then jumped into a cab and I was actually here before we all got together. So welcome, thank you for being here, and USIBC is very happy to be partnering with SIA and also APCO Worldwide, where Udaya sort of mentioned I used to work earlier, and for this for launching this report at this Space Congress. I think it's probably been mentioned since the Congress started. We actually had the first Indian astronaut in space, and I say the first Indian astronaut because the first Indian was actually a cosmonaut, which was about 40 years ago. And depending on where you go up, you get a name. So, but anyway, so we have the second Indian up in space, and it's fantastic. And I think as we speak, probably the module has already talked with the international space station. So congratulations to all of us. I think the India-US space program and the cooperation is something that's extremely important, and it's something that we will be looking at building up tremendously. Dr. Vinod Kumar, Director Promotions in Space, Arun, Principal Commercial Officer, US Consulate General Chennai. We had the US Consul General Chennai with us in Bangalore, where USIBC was holding a special summit to celebrate our 50th year anniversary. And it was just fantastic to have a very strong, deep discussion into various issues that face on the technology front that the 2 countries can take forward together. Dr. Arun, Director West, Ministry of External Affairs, Mr. Anil Prakash, Director of SIA, and Mr. Santosh Tiwari from APCO Worldwide, friends and members of the industry. At the outset, let me congratulate SIA-India on successfully curating yet another India Space Congress. We appreciate SIA-India for providing us a platform to launch the USIBC APCO Worldwide Space Report entitled A Pathway Based on Trust. The focus of the report from an industry perspective is to highlight opportunities for closer cooperation between US and India under the US-India Trust Initiative, which they mentioned was launched back in February when the Prime Minister visited the White House to meet President Trump. As you are aware, space, and in particular commercial space, is an important focus sector and has also found continuity, as I mentioned in the joint statement released earlier this year. While export controls have to some extent been eased, for a more meaningful and deeper engagement in commercial space, it is necessary to work with a larger innovation ecosystem in India in the space sector. Like I said, I'm just coming in from Bangalore, and we are all aware of the capabilities that Indian companies now possess, which help India's cause as well as the work well in the larger US-India framework in a strategic sector like space. The report, and you will get to read it, dwells on 4 different sections for policy advocacy, SATCOM, satellite and rocket component manufacturing, geospatial and finally defense space. It lists out existing trends while highlighting opportunities and industry-specific set of recommendations for policymakers. The report was curated specifically with industry inputs where member companies actually came in and spoke to us and is made as a ready reckoner for decision makers. With the successful launch of the Axiom 4 mission yesterday and the expected launch of NISAR mission, while we witnessed the deep and meaningful partnership in the commercial space sector, the pace of bilateral cooperation is we feel still limited and there is a lot of scope. However, non-tariff barriers and stringent mandatory testing and conformity issues are a major impediment in India, and we've been talking about it. You're all aware there's a bilateral trade agreement which is under discussion, and hopefully we will see something come out of it very soon. But while we recommend tremendous progress made over the years, including liberalization of their rules under the New Space Policy 2023, we also urge both governments to also look at innovative ways for bilateral engagement. Finally, extend cooperation in commercial space into industry collaboration. I mean, what countries? There is a Quad Foreign Ministers meeting on July 1st in Washington, which might give some direction for the next Quad Summit. We will be looking forward to doing that, working with both the governments here. So I'd like to thank the representatives of both the governments, Dr. Vinod, Kumar and Carey, Arun, for their sustained industry engagement in the US-India Commercial Space Corridor, and also like to thank APCO Worldwide in partnering with us for the joint space report and SIA-India for launching the same today. Thank you. I'll hand over back to my colleague.
I think I'll just start by reading all these stellar introductions for all of you. However, that's my role for today. So I'll go now to introduce Carey and request her for the US government her perspectives on the space sector. Carey Arun is the Principal Commercial Officer, US Department of Commerce at the Consulate General Chennai. Carey joined the US Mission in India as Principal Commercial Officer in Chennai in 2022. She leads a team of 9 local specialists responsible for bilateral commercial ties between Southern India and US. She also advises the US missions to Sri Lanka and Maldives on commercial and trade-related matters. She serves as the US Mission to India Coordinator for Space Commerce and also is a co-organizer on the Commercial Space Sub-Working Group, which is part of the US-India Civil Space Joint Working Group. Carey joined the US Department of Commerce in 2017 and has served in Mexico, Washington DC and Baltimore, Maryland. Prior to the commercial service, she has also worked with Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, Lockheed Martin, and also has held positions with the US Department of State and USA.
It's good. You're good. You're good.
I think we have reached the end of that, so thank you and hello.
They sent the long bio. Sorry about that. Hi everyone, I'm Carey Arun. I'm part of the US mission team to India, part of the US Embassy team. I'm based down south, but that's exciting because I have the opportunity to work in Chennai and Bangalore more closely with ISRO and other space partners, as well as with Dr. Vinod and InSpace. So thank you for being here today. We really do appreciate all of the collaboration and support by InSpace as we look to drive commercial space cooperation between India and the United States. Sir, thank you for having us in this panel today at Space Congress. This is my first Space Congress. I haven't been able to make prior year editions, and I'm thoroughly impressed at the level of collaboration, discussion, conversations going not only on in the panels and the discussions, but in the hallways. And it really excites me to see the collaboration that is possible between India and the world on commercial space. As Udaya mentioned, I'm with the U.S. Department of Commerce, so I'm not part of our foreign mission, not part of our Ministry of External Affairs equivalent Department of State. And what that really means is that I'm here to drive collaboration in the commercial sector. My team and I, Sudhir's here from our team at the Embassy, we're here to drive collaboration in the space sector between India and the United States. Udaya also mentioned about the Trust Initiative that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump launched in February of this year. As you read that, if you haven't read it, I encourage you to take a look at it and look at all of the areas that we're collaborating on between India and the United States. We've never been closer than now. In particular, you'll see in multiple instances where there's mention of commercial space collaboration. Right? We had the Axiom A4 launch yesterday. That is the pinnacle of commercial collaboration. We have an Indian astronaut going to the space station. How exciting is that? On an American carrier. How exciting is that even more, right? This is really, I think, going to drive more collaboration in the commercial space sector. So under trust, we are quite focused on the commercial space collaboration. We heard the chairman of InSpace yesterday mention that how industry is going to drive innovation in this sector. It's not for the government to do. We will be a part of it and we will support it, but we're looking to industry to drive the conversations, drive the ideas, drive the solutions. So in 2023, we launched the sub-working group under the Civil Space Joint Working Group for Commercial Space. Very excited to say that we are looking bilaterally at a government-to-government level on how we can improve things like market access, export controls, FDI regimes, among others. And so we've had a number of meetings where we've discussed these things at a government-to-government level. But the better thing that we see is that as a result of the G2G engagement, we're seeing movement in some of these issues. Some of these are long-standing issues that haven't moved in a long time. Others are new to the industry because we're developing and really running at the pace of industry. So programs like today, sessions like this, like Space Congress, this Roundtable, Rahul, thank you for putting this together. We always appreciate our support from USIBC, are imperative to driving the discussion forward. And it's not just the discussion, but actually getting companies together to do the business and do the collaboration. That's how we're going to drive the industry forward. And India and the US really can do that together. So under the sub-working group, we're looking bilaterally how we can drive more engagement, not just resolve the sticky points that you might have as American or Indian companies, but how we can bring you together, resolve those barriers to facilitate more trade. And so if you're an Indian company today in the room, you may or may not be aware that we have assistance as the US Department of Commerce to help you set up in the United States. We know that the US is the largest space market in the world. And so if you're thinking of a presence there in the US or you're wondering about the US market and you want to talk more, please find Sudhir and I after the session. If you're an American company, we're here to help you in the Indian market. We want to understand both the Indian and the American companies, what your challenges are here in India and in the US. So we can take that information back to the leaders that make the decisions to try to resolve the barriers, to get them out of the way so we can do more business. As companies, as businesses, we want to help you drive these conversations. And so we're also looking for ways to bring more industry together. So again, like today's program is fantastic. We're looking at opportunities bilaterally where we can get Indian companies and American companies together to have these discussions and form these relationships. So if you're interested or you want to know more about what we're doing on a government-to-government level, feel free to speak with me. I hope Dr. Vinod doesn't mind that I can say you can speak with him too, because he's an important part of the sub-working group. If you have individual struggles, we want to hear them, and then we love doing forums like these so we can help present those opportunities and learn more from you. So thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for sharing the US government perspective, Carey. That brings us to Dr. Vinod for his vision from the Indian government. And I'll just quickly take a very short minute to introduce Dr. Vinod, even though his introduction was the longest amongst all of you, let me tell you that. So Dr. Vinod is the Director, Promotion Directorate at Indian National Space Promotion Authorization Center, USIBC in Space.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I should
You
really
don't need an
appreciate
introduction as such also, sir.
So I must thank USIBC, Carey especially, and SIA-India for inviting me to get insight on India-US relations. The topic is very apt, accelerating innovation and collaboration. I really like this. What all we should do in this? Really we want to accelerate it. We have a very good association with US. SCS told, Axiom 4 has come, NSR is going from India. So many more in past also we have done. But to accelerate this in this new environment, first thing we request that we should demystify the regulations which are there. Ultimately, each country has its own way of regulations, tariff barriers, but we should demystify it. What we are seeing is the licensing process is long. So it takes a lot of time. So we should work. We have been working with her. I think 2023 also we discussed that ITAR to EAR, we should transfer certain things, and somewhere you are successful and somewhere more you want to do. So it is very necessary. Not only this, probably when you have a big regulation, it takes a lot of time. People don't understand. They need help of an attorney to fill the forms even. Whereas in today's world, it should be very clear guidelines that individuals should be able to fill the form and give the detail. It can be Indian side, ISCOMAT also we have, but we should work from both the sides and best. And as a joint civil space, joint working group, we should not club it with defense. Yes, I understand there is a ISAT initiative. It's a very wonderful initiative to develop trust, TRUST. Right? This is a very good initiative, which is basically to transform relationship using space tech or strategic technology. So I will add there space tech also. And certainly because nowadays space technology is changing lives of the people, it is directly connected to the lives of the people. So what we need to do is to work, simplify the regulations. And I have read fully the book released by US on trade barriers. We went through sincerely. And I could capture only one barrier which US has reflected. That was on using communication satellite or transponder of foreign or US companies in India. We have removed that. So now we have a zero item from their side, and what we request sincerely, we will put up it to them, and we take input from industry also. We will put up all the things to our counterparts there and discuss and resolve issue. And I understand that Government of India has taken a very good initiative, and shortly, I was just reading today morning also, some breakthrough is going to happen in this area, where we want India should be kind of AUKUS, Australia, US, and I think UK. Right? This we should join. We are a very two great democracies are there. We should have free flow of technology because this is for common good. It's for scaling that. So all these things are required. And with this few words, I will say thank you.
Thank you for sharing your vision, sir. This brings us to the highlight of the roundtable today, the launch of the US-India Space Tech Report that we have coordinated with APCO, also USIBC and US. APCO is releasing this report today. I will request Santosh, who is the director of APCO Worldwide, to kind of just give us an overview of the report. He will run the report on the background here. So I request it be projected here. He will run the overview and he will also share the industry perspectives that we have received. Post that, we will go into an open house discussion, and I request all of you to kind of give us more data and figures that we can use to kind of come out with another version of this at the earliest. And over to you, Santosh, to take this up.
Thanks, Udaya. Thanks, SIA and USIBC for giving us the opportunity, to be part of this report. We keep doing thought leadership reports, and this is one of the reports which gave us lots of pleasure in doing for the simple reason that space appears to be one of the sectors after some time which looks to be growing and which appears to be growing in the way Indian government would like, and there is a lot of potential. So the construct of the report is that I'll quickly run you through the report. So this is just a brief background of where we are in terms of Indo-US collaboration and how democratization of the space area is required. How come India-US collaboration is so important in this field, in this area. And this is the brief background which is there in the report. And then the numbers clearly suggest that the potential in this sector, if India wants to grow its share in the space sector from 2% to 10% by 2030, and US has 40% share of the global space market, then there could not be any better reason to just have this kind of collaboration between India and US. Like in this chart you can see that India currently has 2% of the global share and it wants to grow to 10%, and without these kind of collaborations which we are talking about with the US, maybe this will not be possible. Please go ahead. So just to sum up, you are all from the industry, but this report clearly defines and gives you the perspective of key milestones which Indian space sector has already achieved. I will not run through the whole thing, I will not read. The ecosystem, everybody knows, so the way NCIL is playing great role in space and ISRO, this is the structure which government has created, which is supporting the industry to do what is required. Obviously, commercialization of the space sector is going to be a big industry in decades, and that's why this structure has been created, and up till now, it has given great results, and it is expected that the way Dr. Vinod was talking about, and Carey was also indicating, these kind of collaborations between different countries, India, US specifically, will make this structure work and take India to the level where it is, which it is targeting. Michael, please go ahead. So this is what the different organizations do. Please go ahead. And then the priorities which were there in the previous years, and right now the way we are going in, FDI regulation has taken place in the satellite launch sector. The policy is there, 2023 space policy, that gives you a complete roadmap of where the government wants to take the space sector to. So in terms of regulation, etc., the roadmap has been laid, but obviously it's a work in progress, and as we were talking, different speakers were talking about, there is clear intent that wherever industry wants support in terms of changing regulation, the government is more than inclined to do that. Yeah, this is all what has happened. Please go ahead. This is your regulatory landscape, the way it has got developed. Indian space policy came in 2023, 2024, there was a GI regularization. Please go ahead. The policy aspects of 2023, that is given there. And some of the non-government entities which are there in the space sector already doing fabulous job. And one of the greatest aspects of the space sector, the way it has developed in India, is that in 2014 you had just one startup working in the space sector. And now you have more than 400. People say 200 or 400, but 200 is the number. But if you look at other associated aspects, no, it will not be less than over 200 for sure. But my this thing would be that if you look at every single day, it is increasing. Startups are increasingly getting involved. So very soon you will get to 400 numbers surely. And global industry, space industry outlook, you can see that different projections have been made, and 1.8 trillion US dollars by 2035. It's going to be a huge space for commercial interests. And Indian companies, if they are able to forge collaborations with US companies and other companies from different parts of the world, Indian companies will be able to capitalize on this kind of opportunity surely. Yes, Kumar. This is how we look India versus I told you. India is 2%, US is 40%. Obviously they are doing something right, and majorly right. So India has to learn from US. If not adopt completely, at least learn from US. And that clearly is being seen in this chart. Please go ahead. These are the kind of international collaborations which are already there. India, USA, Carey talked about, and Dr. Vinod also talked about. India, France is also there. India, Russia is there. India, Japan is there. And when Dr. Vinod was saying that democratic countries, they should come together, the catchword is the democratization of the space. And the moment there is some sort of democratization of space and every country is working together towards that, the private sector would certainly benefit. These are the kind of participations that are happening already. And we chose 4 sectors, and we took recommendations, challenges, and whatever is happening recently in these 4 sectors of the space sector, just to ignite the discussion point. There are several other areas which obviously USIBC and the industry would like to add to this report. We would be more than happy to add to this report with your recommendation and with your suggestions, which could be taken to the government in a manner which leads to different results that you are looking at. So the SATCOM sectors, recently all of you know that things are happening and lots of developments are happening. There are different interest groups. This discussion has to be taken forward, and here in this report you will see the recent development challenges and opportunities and also the recommendations. And recommendations are, if you go through the recommendations, whenever a new sector opens up, obviously there are regulatory challenges, there are requirements from the government support side, both at the central level and I am also adding here the state level, because there are states like Tamil Nadu and Karnataka which are doing great job in promoting space sector. So that kind of support when you need them, one point which needs to be seen here in a different context is that this is the government where the chances of getting your things done as far as industry is concerned are far, far more than the earlier period. Why I am saying this is that there is a structure which has been laid down. If you go to the right kind of people, right kind of department and right kind of table, then the work gets done very fast. We have seen it in different sectors, and why should not it happen in the space sector? It can be seen here. Then we have covered satellite, rocket and component manufacturing section. Obviously, the 100% FDI thing is going to help Indian companies also. But right kind of support is required. So whatever recommendations have come from the industry, we have covered that. And this could be taken up with the government, both sides, US and India. Please go ahead. So similarly, for the geospatial segment, this segment is turning out to be very, very important because of India's competence and India's capabilities in the IT and ITES sector. Here, the Indian companies can add to the global marketplace in a big way if they can capitalize on the opportunities that are there. So whatever this segment requires, if the government is able to provide to the industry in a quick manner, then this segment is going to grow very, very fast. So that is also covered here. And lastly, the dev space segment. I would like to talk much about it because you can see whatever is happening across the globe right now, but there is a need for bringing in dual technologies which could be beneficial for the commercial space sector and the strategic sector also. There has to be some balance, but that is something for the governments to discuss and all. So this is all which is covered in the report. Again, for the sake of repetition, I would say that this is a work in progress. So wherever industry wants some sort of recommendation or challenges that they are facing, they want to go through us, present it to us, or make part of this report, then we can update this report, and then we hope that this report does those things, for the purpose for which this report has been done. Thanks for that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Santosh. We do have a 15-minute window for open house questions. We don't have a raise the hand button here, so in person please raise your physical hand, identify yourself, ask questions of the panelists. We have the US government representative here, Indian government representative here, and of course Rahul and Santosh as well. So please feel free to raise your hand and ask any questions, any recommendations, any interventions you have. Please go ahead.
Hello, I'm Amitabh Kushal from Delphi Heights. I saw in the report a very clear indication on the dev space of 30 satellites to be launched on the SBS3 platform. Can't see anything on the, is there something like that for the commercial space? Or do you have the actual opportunity defined for the commercial space?
So in this report, we have covered the areas which we chose to. But as I said that, if there are recommendations, whatever, like if you suggest, then we will certainly update the report and bring in all those recommendations. Because this is not something which is cast in stone and it can't go beyond. It's just the beginning, it's just the start, but this report is a work in progress. So the way industry is, this industry is work in progress, we will add those segments, going forward.
Anybody else? Seems like we have covered most of the things already. I think Mr. Prakash has it.
We're happy to work with the so that this is open and we definitely give over. We have a lot of other points which we can add to it. as Amitabh has also asked about the question about how many star satellite or constellations being built in the private space or private sector. So we have some that's what the data points on that. So we will actually try to put those numbers there. And I think that's there. There's a definitely there's a commercial space requirement, there's a defense space requirements which are relatively high. And yes, it is.
He can also update the report.
Absolutely. He's got very data points, so you copy that.
See, this is very apt question. See, generally, if you see total opportunities for Indian companies, I think I visited this, Mr. So I'm trying to answer your question. For civil space, how many opportunities are there? I'll tell you, if you see total commitment from the government of India is around $7 billion, 60,000 crore rupees. It includes 52 SBS satellite already announced, Venus mission, landing on Moon, and sample return mission, followed by landing on Bhartiya Antariksh Station, and a dozen of EOPPP installation. If you count all these things together, it's a big chunk of money, $7 billion is already announced by government. There will be then replacement satellites and all that. So I'm sure our target is around $44 billion if I'm about by 2033. We are already having investment. This NB says $44 billion with $22 billion investment. So 8 already is announced. So it will, of course, it will be spread over some 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You see, there are a lot of opportunity and new installations are also being planned. So rest assured, there are a lot of opportunities. KITSI is also 2 satellites announced by that. We are having interaction with all the government departments, central as well as states. So there was one national meet in 2015 by Honorable Prime Minister. Now again it will happen shortly, and the demand is being captured from that, and wait for the announcement. So a lot of opportunities to do in India. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay. I think what Chairman in space was very clear yesterday in the opening session. He said $44 billion is not a visit output, it is an aspirational company. And we cannot achieve ourselves $44 billion. If we leave it to Indian companies to achieve the $44 billion, I think we are setting a long signal. It has to be collaborative. The collaboration leads to the $44 billion. And then in space, annual with the 7th industry meet, they have put a check and balances how well we are progressing on it. So there's a year and year basis, we will take a, start thinking on that how well we have actually moved to like placing a target of launching the satellite and where this trajectory is moving, and it is as on a path or they are drifting away. So while it is drifting away, there will be corrective measure can be made. But if it is reached the destination, it falls short of the target, we cannot do anything. So that's why I think we are doing a very technical assessment on year-on-year basis that what this is the target 44 million, how we are reaching that, what are the factors which will make it this to happen. So I think this is a very good report, and I think the overall arching, principle has been laid out in decadal vision of the space document, and I think the APCO reports will bring it from something on that which will be targeting in terms of the US-India cooperation on that plot. So I think that your report is much more valuable in terms of India-US collaboration is concerned. So that's really good. Thank you.
Thank you for this report, for a very good conversation you had. My name is Arun. I sit on the advisory board of SIA. A couple of observations and maybe suggestions and maybe some recommendations from those we have for the commercial service applicant. While we have seen a lot of work we've done in launch services, for example, this flying and falcon, we've heard of Amazon signing up with Carey yesterday for another segment of launch services going together. We've also seen some kind of cooperation happening, some kind of manufacturing, but there is a lot that is being done. also in the services sector, which probably is the low-hanging fruit, where probably we do not have so much regulation as well. Probably Dr. Vinod is where you are there. We could talk a bit about what could be the enabling network or enablers that we could have as an industry association, because you have both an Indian association, Arun is there, Mr. Prakash is here, and Rahul is here, Rahul is here. So probably we could talk a bit about that and how this could be achieved in probably a time frame of let's say 3 years, 5 years, with some landmarks. Thank you.
Excellent question, and really this downstream is the really low-hanging fruit, and India has capacity, tremendous capacity in that. I can tell you that ISRO has already developed the capacity in that, but I will tell a private company. We have announced 4 announcement of opportunity for seed funds, where we have selected 7 companies. So it includes from space tech and agriculture sector, rural development, disaster management, and marine sector. There have been a very hit, 160 plus applications we received and critical scrutiny we carried out. These companies are doing good. I can name them. AI is the one, Mistio is another, then Sora is there, then High Space. They are very good, they are coming up very big, and we are not just giving money and forgetting it. We are evaluating them. Every month they have to give report on focal point is identified. So, in addition to this, Basal Lab is a crop cage. Many companies are there, so who are doing good. AGK, they are doing wonderfully. Not only in India, they have started expanding their wings outside India as well. So, we see, yes, it has a very good opportunity. It changes the life, and I can tell you, we are working with again identifying the opportunities what our Indian companies can do. Certainly this will be compiled, and the grey area frankly is the data availability. We are working on this. Already we have announced 12 satellite constellation for EOPDP model. That also we have started work, and some more may come. And we will ensure that within 2-3 years there are sufficient number of satellites with data. However, we have around 40 data disseminators listed at our website, those who are giving Maxar data and all other Sentinel and all other data. It's very important, yes, you get up in the morning, you see your phone, everywhere satellite is there, news, you are there, you are going to ATM, draw money, there is also satellite. You are walking on the street while you are going navigation, there is a satellite. Your precision agriculture, there is a satellite. Disaster management, there is a satellite. I can make anything where satellite is not used, but it needs the habit of demand generation is very important, and people should start using that technology. So till you generate the demand, sustainability of down upstream cannot be ensured. So both are complementary and necessary for that. Good questions, complementary.
You have a question?
Can I add to that before we go on? Sorry. And so, sir, I think you're exactly right. And the cases are there. We see the opportunity. I think we struggle a bit between India and America on just the general knowledge of the two markets, right? It's very easy, and I say that lightly, not too lightly, but it's easy for a company to find partnerships in the United States. What holds us back is that for the Indian industry, they don't have a basic understanding of the commercial space market in the United States. To that end, in March of 23, through the Department of State, we sent an international leadership visitor program to the U.S. Dr. Vinod was part of the delegation, as well as some officials from the Department of Space, as well as the 6 leading startups here in India. And we took them and had every government meeting we could prime for them. We took them to the Department of State, to the Department of Commerce, to NOAA, to FAA, to NASA. And then they went to LA and to Cape Canaveral, where they met with a broad swath of American industry. And so USIBC was very important in that delegation as well, because they arranged meetings for us for the Indian companies to learn more about the industry. And so there's a basic challenge in understanding, right? And it's multifaceted, it's multi-segmented, right? And so Dr. Vinod mentioned export controls remain to be a troublesome issue. What we're seeing is that it's not, the export controls are tough and they're stringent, but it's a lack of understanding of what the actual process is and a lot of misinformation. So not only at a government to government level are we looking to resolve the individual issues, but we're trying to make sure everyone has access to the same level of information so everyone can have the same understanding. And so we do a lot of industry engagement, which is not traditional for a G2G bilateral working group to do, because what we see is industry needs to be better informed on both sides, right?
That's the reason I said, because Rahul is here and Arun is here. Probably they could bridge that. That's the reason I said Rahul is here and Arun is here. Probably they could be facilitating this process of bridging the gap between the information which is available and the process that needs to be followed. Because I feel that it's a huge opportunity waiting for us, both in terms of business as well as cross corporate. There's a lot of happening at G2G level, has to translate at B2B level.
Correct, and further on that, in addition to the delegation that went to the US, last May, along with USIBC, they were the anchor for this, we held a conference in Bangalore with 150 Indian space startups, where we talked about the lessons learned of the delegation to the United States, so we could spread that information far and wide. And we have to continue to do engagements like this and activities where we're bringing industry together, because they're not going to be able to find it necessarily on their own. They have to learn from each other. And the technology that is coming out of India is fantastic, right? We want to make sure that they have the opportunity to the global marketplace for that. We have long-standing partners and companies in the United States that have legacy technology that are coming up with new technology. So how do we bridge that gap to bring the two economies together so that way it's co-development, developed together for the world? And so that's a lot of what we're spending time on. And so me as a diplomat, I think a lot of people think, oh, we're focused on the G2G. The G2G is very important. I'm trying to drive the commercial engagement to get everybody access to the same information so we can do business better, faster, more.
Thank you. You have a question? No. Okay.
Okay, I think in the interest of time, we'll bring it to a close now in case there are no other questions. Thank you to all the panelists and the participants for your time. We have taken your observations and your recommendations and we will include these in the future versions of the report. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I would like to actually acknowledge all the esteemed panelists over here. I request Mr. Prakash to hand over the mentors on behalf of SIA-India, and also request for a group photo for this session. Thank you. Once again, thank you so much, our esteemed panelists. Now, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we break for a networking tea and coffee break, and take the other round of sessions on the other halls, and we commence our sessions for the day of this call. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. During the break, please